Did you know that most of the regular sizes in clothing stores are actually not women's sizes? Ever wondered what a W means on a clothing size tag? What are the best plus size brands out there and which are best for resale? Is it really hard to find vintage plus size? I'm going to answer all those questions and more. So if that sounds interesting, stick around, be sure to subscribe and like this video. I'm so glad you're interested in watching this video because this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while. As a plus size gal myself, I found there's a lot of misconceptions about plus sizes. People don't really know what to look for, and they have a lot of questions if they're not plus size themselves. So I thought I'd make a video to try to explain some of these myths, talk about brands that I like, talk about upcoming brands, and just talk about plus sizes in general. And of course, we'll talk about plus sizes on the resale market. So if you're new to our channel, my name's Victoria, and I'm part of a 3-person team here called Super Geeked. On Super Geeked, we celebrate all the things that we get super geeked about, and I get super geeked about reselling, but also plus size fashion because I wear plus size fashion. You'll hear a lot of resellers say that they're really interested in stocking more inclusive sizes in their closets, but they feel like they don't know what to look for. They have a hard time finding it, all these things. And I'm here to tell you, it's not as hard as you think. I know because I sell a lot of plus size, and I want to try to give you some tips on what you can do to beef up your stores with plus size, give you some brand knowledge on some great plus size brands that are out there, brands that you already know that you maybe don't realize carry plus sizes, and also give you a little background about plus sizing. The International Journal of Fashion Design, Technology, and Education recently, this year in 2020, came out to say that the average size of a U.S. woman is now 16 to 18. Until this data came out, we were going off of 10-year-old data that said the average woman's size in the U.S. was 14. And as you can see, that has actually increased. So that's one of the reasons it's important to have extended sizes in your closet, because the average woman is no longer in what you would consider regular sizing. Now, 14 is usually the cap for regular sizes. They have increased that. Some of the regular sizing now includes 16 or 18. You can find those in a regular section in a department store, but they also have a plus size or what they call the women's section. So that brings me to my first tip. The first tip is the clothing you're selling right now, that's not plus or extended sizes, is not actually women's sizing. It's called misses. So the standard for US women's sizing is actually misses sizes. And the best way I can explain it, that we used to explain it when I worked at the Victoria's Secret catalog, was misses sizes are between junior and women's. So that brings me to my first tip. What does that W mean on clothing tags? Well, the W means women's sizes, because women's sizes in a department store are actually plus or extended sizing. Did I just blow your mind? So I've heard some of my reselling friends say that W means wide, and that's not actually what it means. It just means women's. So in a regular department store, to differentiate between sizing, they'll put a W next to the size number so that you know that it's a plus or an extended size. It doesn't mean wide. And so that tells you women's size equals plus size equals extended size. They all mean the same thing. So as I've said, misses is the most common sizing. Generally, it's classified as 2 to 16 or small to extra large. And then women's sizing also uses even numbers, but it's 18 and up or 1X and up. So the cut of women's and misses clothing is also different. Misses clothing, the bust line is higher, and in women's, it's a little lower. And that's to account for larger bust sizing and fit. Women's clothing are also cut larger in the armholes, and they also tend to have a lower waist. And then with misses sizes, you'll see a lot more tailoring. Not to say that women's clothing isn't tailored, but it's just not tailored to the level that misses clothing tends to be tailored. That's just the standard. Of course, there are exceptions to that too. So remember, when you see that W, it doesn't mean wide, it just means women's plus size or extended sizes. A common misconception I've seen from some of my reselling friends is that brands don't matter with plus size. That plus size women, they're not really looking for brand. They're just looking for something that fits and is comfortable. And that's not really true anymore. Women like me, we enjoy fashion, we enjoy style, we want quality, we want good fabrics, just like someone who's not in plus or extended sizing. The only difference between me and you is that my measurements are different. And I've also heard some of my reselling friends say that style doesn't matter for plus size women. Style does matter. Plus size girls like what they like too. For example, for myself, I'm really into like vintage inspired, classic silhouettes, novelty prints, things like that. And you can now find all of that in plus size clothing. And I'll tell you more about my personal experience when I get into the brands that I enjoy that are plus size. Do I consider coverage when I purchase clothing? Yeah, but I don't want to look like a tent either. You know, I'm interested in style, things that are flattering on me. And the only difference is, like I said, my measurements. I feel like gone are the days where plus size women have to compromise their fashion sense just to find clothes to wear. That's just not the truth anymore. And there are so many companies every day adding extended sizes that it's amazing. So a big misconception that I hear a lot and I have experience with as a vintage seller is that vintage plus sizes are hard to find. Yes, it's true that humans have evolved over time. If you look at any museum from the Victorian period, you'll see that women were more petite, their waistlines were smaller, they were just smaller people than we are today. However, if you're looking at recent vintage, if you're not looking at that Victorian era, but you are looking 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, then you're going to find plus sizes. So unless you're looking for actual period vintage style, which you would probably have a harder time finding, styles from the 90s to the 50s have all kinds of size ranges. So the first period of vintage clothing that we're going to talk about is the 1950s to the early 1970s. So although there was commercially made clothing, a good majority of fashion could still be found handmade, and that means that fashion was made at all different sizes and shapes. As we get into the late 70s and through the 90s and beyond, that's when commercialized fashion took over. And although there weren't as many handmade items, there still were extended sizes, and you can still find vintage pieces that are in plus sizes. So finding plus size vintage fashion is not as hard as you think. So now we're going to talk about brands. So first I want to talk about some brands that I really like. You all know that this isn't a surprise that I love ModCloth. ModCloth is not only size inclusive, but they have fabulous styles and the quality of their pieces is wonderful. It's worth the price. And I just love ModCloth. So if you haven't seen earlier videos that I've made on ModCloth, ModCloth started as a vintage resale business. Then they started getting into importing international brands that were vintage inspired. So the bulk of them were from the UK, but also from other countries. And then they introduced the ModCloth line of clothing. So now they produce their own clothing under the ModCloth brand. So you might find other brands that were carried by ModCloth like Collective or Hell Bunny or Emily and Finn, brands like this that you may have heard of that were carried by ModCloth and imported to be sold at ModCloth. But my favorite part is that even the international brands are starting to include plus sizes. So it's really exciting because some of these really great designers are considering plus size women. And I find and buy so much from ModCloth. I can't say enough about it. They're a great company to resell. Their clothing tends to hold their resale value really well, but also they're fun. They have fun novelty prints, and you guys know I love them, and I'm a big seller of them. I hope to have some ModCloth videos out in 2021 to talk more about the brand and my best sales from that brand and things like that. So moving on, another brand that you've probably heard of is Eloquii. So Eloquii has a very interesting story. They started as an offshoot of the Limited in 2011. However, they closed down shortly after, but in 2014, they came back and just blew the door off the scene. What I love about Eloquii is they have classic styles. So that's right up my alley. Some of it's a little vintage inspired and some of it takes from modern trends that are happening. And the quality of the clothing is so good. I have pieces that I bought when Eloquii first launched that are still in excellent condition. They're a great brand to resell. More and more people are finding out about Eloquii. Many bloggers and influencers consider Eloquii a one-stop shop for plus-size fashion. So they're really getting the name of the brand out there. More and more people are learning about Eloquii. The resale value has gone up, and they're just a good overall brand to know about. They range in sizes from 14 to 28. A couple of other brands that I really like that carry plus sizes is I like Madewell. I buy a lot of Madewell sweaters. I like Good American. I love the Good American jeans. They're very comfortable. And then I also like that Anthropologie has launched a plus size line. I buy a lot of their jeans. There's a brand called DL 1961. You may have heard of them if you're a reseller. They are an excellent brand. They retail for like $250, and I love their jeans, and I get them through Anthropologie for plus sizes. Now we're going to talk about mainstream brands. I'm just going to sort of list some brands that you've probably heard of, but you may not know that they carry plus sizes. So I just want to run through the list. We know Lane Bryant. They're exclusively a plus size brand. Torrid started out pretty edgy. They are owned by Hot Topic, and they had sort of an edgy style for plus size when they first launched. I shopped from them a lot in the very beginning. They've gone a lot more trendy and fast fashion, which is fine, but they are a brand to know. There are also brands like Loft, J. Jill, Stitch Fix, Melissa McCarthy, and the 7/7 collaboration does really well for resale. Go check out those Poshmark sold comps on those. American Eagle, Old Navy, ASOS Curve. ASOS Curve was making plus size before it was cool to make plus size, and I really like some of their trendy fashion. Even though they do a lot of fast fashion, they also do some really cute styles. There's brands that you're looking for your resale business but didn't realize they carry plus size, like Vince, Veronica Beard, Karen Millen, Girlfriend Collective. I personally stay away from more mature plus size brands that tend to not have as much style, especially brands like Women Within, Catherine's, Romans. But there are some more mature plus size brands that do really well on the resale market, like Ulla Popkin, which is a German designer, Chico's, Talbot's, brands like that. I'm going to go into depth with the plus size brands that I really think you need to know, but some of the trendy brands that you can look up on your own are Day One, Tanya Taylor, Co-Edition, and Prim.
Okay, guys, now we're going to talk about plus size brands and online stores that I think you should know about that offer extended sizes. So we're going to start with 11 Henri. Think of 11 Henri as the Net-a-Porter of the plus size world. So they're an online store. They offer designer brands that cater to women beyond size 16, and they work hard to bring designer brands into the closets of plus size women. They prove that high fashion belongs on everybody. The site is beautifully merchandised, and its edits includes fashion heavyweights such as Brandon Maxwell, Carolina Herrera, Marc Jacobs, Christian Siriano, Mara Hoffman, Diane von Furstenberg, and others, in addition to its own line, which focuses on classic, well-made staples with elevated details. Okay, next we're going to talk about Koyan. If you're searching for minimalist vibes, fuss-free fashion, then Koyan is a definite go-to. This U.S. brand focuses on curated edits of elegant, ethically sourced silk dresses. Each of them has a versatile appeal. They can be worn casually or formally. They have simple, fluid shapes that take center stage, from floor-length styles to belted V-neck looks. Forget trend-led pieces that date within months. These are luxurious, comfortable designs with effortless ease. Next, inclusive brand is Kai Collective. It was created by fashion and travel influencer Fasayo Lange in 2016, and its aim is to celebrate femininity, and that means in all different forms. So the directional bold capsule spans vegan leather dresses, silky skirts in vibrant shades, and form-fitting printed dresses and tops that are covered in exclusive prints. If you want to make a statement and clothes that truly empower, Kai Collective would be a great start for any plus-size woman. Maria Rinaldi was a true pioneer in plus size fashion way back when the brand was established in 1980 as a luxury label that catered directly to curvier women, something that was totally unheard of at the time. Today, there's still a focus on soft silhouettes with celebrity fans including Melissa McCarthy, Patricia Arquette, and Ashley Graham. Bright colors, prints, and embroideries are key at Maria Rinaldi. The brand is ideal for women who want to stand out and truly play with fashion. This next brand I'm really excited to share with you. It's Universal Standard, and they are considered the world's most inclusive fashion brand. That's because Universal Standard offers US sizes from 00 all the way to 40 and UK sizes from 4 to 44. The label believes that all women should be entitled to style, quality, and respect regardless of their shape, creating quality contemporary pieces with instant must-have appeal. It's a template that has appealed to the industry with collaborators including Rodarte and Adidas. This is a really exciting brand, and also I just want to show you real quick that they are very inclusive. You can see they definitely cater to women in all shapes and sizes, all creeds, all colors, all ethnicities, everything. So I just love this brand. They're great. They have quality pieces, and they're definitely a brand to know. Next up is a brand that I know, at least for me, I'm always looking for my resale business. It retails for a lot, but it also resells really well, and that's Veronica Beard. So the US label Veronica Beard launched extended sizing in 2019. That's huge, huge for the plus size market. Its founders realized that the limited size range that they had meant that they weren't reaching as many women. So what did they do? They pivoted. Its collections are characterized by polished, easy to wear pieces from the perfect blazer to well cut denim and flattering wrap dresses. And be sure to look out because not only are they offering plus size in their clothing, but also even in their swimwear. So that's really exciting for the plus size community. This brand I'm really excited to share with you. They're called the Hour London. The Hour aims to flatter and frame fuller figures, designing seasonless, versatile looks that can be worn day to night. Their sustainability is a major priority for their collections, and they're made with upcycled fabrics that would normally be discarded at the mills. They were founded by a former doctor based in London, and the label takes precision, proportion, and careful sculpting seriously so that these pieces that they create never swamp or restrict. Okay, y'all all know Reformation. Reformation is the cool girl brand with hot girl aesthetic, and guess what? They're environmentally conscious too. But on top of that, they've now extended their sizes so that curvy babes can shop there too. Reformation has always made sustainability front and center in their messaging, but it's really cool to know that they now offer extended sizes. Their plus size is permanent, and they're bringing these best-selling cult favorites to a broader market now. So whether you're looking for a slinky LBD that will accentuate your curves or a pretty summer dress to dig out year after year, Reformation now has our plus size girls covered. Another British brand that I want to talk about is Dear Curves. Dear Curves works with premium fabrics and traditional African-inspired wax prints to create bold looks that truly celebrate fuller figures. A former plus-size model created this brand. Ojama Edigwu, I hope I said that correctly, was inspired to launch her business out of a desire to help women to accept and embrace their bodies. And 7 years later, her label is a growing success story with 45 stockists worldwide. And just to add, I'm going to need to buy this skirt ASAP. Last up, we have boss lady Rihanna. Rihanna has been widely praised for her inclusive Savage Fenty lingerie brand. It's the modern alternative to antiquated lingerie brands, not naming any names. They have size ranging up to size 24, and the line aims to offer shoppers the lingerie they deserve, but they're also modeled by women that represent them in terms of ethnicity, shape, and size. A lot of consideration and research goes into the fit of each piece, and plus size underwear specifically needs to be cut differently than smaller sizes, and that's to ensure the wearer feels comfortable as well as sexy. So this is definitely a brand to keep your eye out for, a wonderful plus size brand. And who doesn't love Rihanna?
Well, guys, that's my video for you. That's my introduction to plus size. I hope I answered some questions for you, debunked some myths, help you on your reselling journey to find more plus size brands for your closet and stores, and overall made you more excited about shopping for plus size and knowing that there's a lot of style, brands, and fashion to be had in plus or extended sizes. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope that you'll consider subscribing to our channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye!